Okay, well, hello friends. Welcome again if you are watching to another Prefect 99 live stream. Thanks very much if you indeed are watching, and welcome back to Manchester. You can see I've put Aerosoft Manchester, which I think I got free quite a long while ago, back on. Doesn't seem to be impacting performance too much, and actually it seems to be shadows that were killing everything, which is really weird. Really weird. So, unfortunately, we have to have those off, which is a bit of a shame. We are on VATSIM. You can see somebody's just touched down, and we are off on a short-ish sector to Limoges, which is either a new destination or certainly one that we haven't been to before, and I've done quite a lot of the Ryanair routes back in the past. So still a bit rusty in the 7.3. Wasn't horrific, but there were definitely some items I forgot last time. Hopefully external volume seems to be working. We are online. There is Tower online, London Terminal South is on. That's a bit about it. So we may have to be looking after ourselves. Here we are, stand 5-4 at Manchester, and it really is quite good, this scenery. And the only reason I didn't used to use it was because it was quite intense on the frames. But I'll just get the frame counter up. You can see 43 outside, a little bit low when we're inside. I can live with that, to be honest. And of course, it's a lot more customized. So, without further ado, let's jump into the jet. Again, this is another one. Golf Juliet Kilo is one that Ryanair don't have anymore. So I do need to get some deliveries. I haven't done the shadow fix. I managed to forget to do that. But never mind. So here we are, cold and dark. I think that overhead config might actually be incorrect. I'm pretty sure it's got big old landing lights, the old halogens, but never mind. Whatever. Ultimate realism. That level of pedantry I do not strive for. So, quick startup. Again, as always, I prefix it with identical startup, fire warning test, etc. And you should if you so wish. Gonna leave the belts off. It's got the stairs open, both cargoes are open. Might as well start at the top. Go. Let's get the RSs aligning. There they are. The yaw damper can come on, low pressure cautions are on. Source auto. Fuel temperature is about ambient. Crossfeed you can check. Open, that goes bright. Then dim, close, bright. Off. No fuel in the centre pumps for this sector. All of the wing pumps are off for the moment. We do have fuel, but we can put some more in. We are on ground power. User IV. Both on. Lights as we like. Cooling is normal. Emergency exit lights have been done. Belts and smoking are off. You can try the attend and the ground call if you like. Wipers are parked. APU's off. Engine starts off set right for the first start of the day. Diff pressure is 0. We check the doors, the hydraulic pumps. We can pop those on. The cautions go out. We can see the overheat test there. And that should go on and off. Auto. Trim air on. Set the cabin as you like. Packs would go to auto. We'd have conditioned air. The AD would stay off. And to have a look at our flight plan, we have a step descent. I believe because of the airways, so our initial flight is 350. And our destination is quite high, 1300. Navs are on steady, logo can stay off. AC power, so they should be on steady. Go, that's the initial overhead done. Departures, I think, are about 5,000, so we can set that. Not sure what runway's in use yet. Sparrow, we can set that to hectopascals. Iris is aligning, fuel caution is on. 4 point something. Get that loaded in a minute. The brake light comes on, test. Got hydraulic pressure. Take off config sounds. You obviously want to check that because if it doesn't work, you don't want to be finding that out. Parking brake set on. That should be set to 2000. You fail your instrument rating test. You can do that again right after parking. Got MMR here, which is no good for me, so set that back. Display invariants. Let's see this for a while. Placards, auto flight, exterior systems, that makes sense. MMR, no. Aspirated, no hard. Engine start switch is auto, no. Okay, yes, pressurization of. Not sure how they have that set in reality. I assume it would be chime only. There is a lot in there. So quick save everything, that'll do us. Let's get our fuel. The weather is not terrible, but not great for arrival. We'll talk about that in the cruise probably. 6980, I'm just going to call it 7. We don't have much in reserve there, so we'll see how we get on. In kilos. Go. I've already loaded the packs and everything. If you are watching, it says somebody joined in for a bit. Please say hi. So 7 requested. Let's have a listen to the ATIS, shall we? 121975. I hear nothing. It's definitely a VATSIM issue, isn't it? Weird. Okay, so we can get that via text. Isn't the end of the world. So let's do that. Departure ATIS is information Papa. Time 1420 Zulu automatic. Transition level, flight level 60, surface wind 320 at 4 knots. Variable between 270 and 340. Visibility is 10k or more. Scattered 3,800. Broken 4,006. CB detected. Temperature 19. Dew point is 16. And the QNH is 1014. So we can set that. And that should correspond with the aerodrome elevation, which is on the chart, 257, close enough. It didn't tell me, interesting, which runway was in use, but with it varying 320 and 340, that would be all across, but favouring runway 23. Now the flight plan called for SANBA 1 Yankee, which ordinarily would be correct. It's probably unlikely with low intensity ops that we've got here. Get 2-3 right in case we need to come back. 1095 standby on nav 1 is fine. Yes, and 113. 365, 54. It's 274, but it's not a radial for departure. There was a ding. What was the ding? Enter IRS. Fine. 232 runway heading. Top of climb 51. Happy days. Anything to do up top? Nope. So we'll get to the FFC in a moment. Can do is start loading the punters. Manchester Tower, good afternoon. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, Tower Chief, stand by, call you straight back. E090, just confirm your requested cruising level, please. This flight level 240. Okay.
You lied.
Shuttle 3 Romeo, ready for taxi.
I'm not getting the horrific music. What's that?
Ryanair.
That's why.
Guys, the wheel's on board.
Hope that isn't too loud. It
Shuttle
doesn't
3
quite loud.
Romeo, Manchester Tower. Free to form. Shuttle 3 Romeo, ready for taxi.
So that's confusing using the call sign the wrong way around. Nav data is current, correct aircraft, correct engine rating. So I'm going to scroll down while we wait 7010 as the fuel. On all the OFP pages. So I've printed the whole OFP.
Easy 113 with information Quebec, requesting IFR clearance to Gatwick via the flight plan.
What changed? Not much. Did anything change apart from the QFE being added? I think so. Same time. I think he's having some dramas.
3 for monitor Unicorn 122.8.
Oh, they were switching over.
122.8, shuttle 3 on the line. Easy 090, we have to reroute via the Cuxham 1 Romeo, confirm that's okay for you? Stand by Manchester Tower. Okay. Easy 113, I've got no outbound flight plan for you, can you just check that you have filed?
Yeah, I have filed. I'll file it again. Easy 113.
Okay.
I might just double check that, to be honest.
Shuttle 3 Romeo, Manchester Tower, ready for taxi. 201's for taxi. Shuttle 3 Romeo, ready for taxi. Shuttle 3, thank you. Straight ahead onto Foxtrot, give way to Ryanair, taxi holding point Juliet 1.
Straight ahead on Foxtrot, give way to Ryanair, then Juliet 1, Shuttle 3 Romeo.
Ryanair 3128 is straight ahead there, please, stand 50.
Continuing taxi to stand 50, Ryanair 3128, thank you.
I thought he had called me. Manchester Tower, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, hello, flash message.
737 800 information Quebec. QNH 1014 stand 54. Request departure clearance to Limoges.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thank you. Quebec is current, QNH correct at 1014. Depart 23 right to Limoges. SANBA 1 Romeo departure, squawk 6660.
Departure runway 23 right, SANBA 1 Romeo, squawk 6660 via 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, correct.
Easy 113, have you received my flight plan now? Easy 113.
Easy 113, negative, I'm still showing you the inbound route. Maybe worth logging off and then logging back in again. He still thinks you're on arrival aircraft.
So SANBA, November 859.
Okay, roger that.
UTUXA.
Easy 113.
859, Upper November to VANAD, Alpha 34 to BVOR, forget what that is, Romeo 10 to BALAN. And then the arrival, so that's correct.
3 Romeo, all intersections are available, advise if you wish one.
0 fuel, 57.1, our estimate. It's 58.3.
Flight plan has now arrived, I have your clearance when ready.
I am ready to copy clearance, Easy 113.
Easy 113, information is Quebec, QNH 1014, depart runway 23 right to Gatwick, SANBA 1 Romeo departure, squawk 6641.
Information Quebec, QNH 1014, depart from runway 23 right, SANBA 1 Romeo departure, squawk 6641, Easy 113.
Easy
Plus
113,
9.
back is correct.
You're also cleared on that departure, weren't we? So I can set that. And the squawk's been done. So performance-wise, our gross weight 64.1 is slightly less. Don't forget that's always rounded up. FMC 23 right is the runway in use. I think we will take full length. We could go from Mike. 0143203. Runway is not listed as wet. So that's interesting. That's what Noah's giving. Wet runway. Okay. Live with that. Optimum flap, engine leads on, select temperature, yes. 23 right. No clearway, no entry point. Tora, plan take up weight 64.1. So we've got a short taxi. We could probably knock 100 kilos off that, but I'll play it safe rather than sorry. And that has given us stop margin of 976 from Mike 1. 2567. We can take Mike 1. We wouldn't take anything. Oh, I suppose, could we take hotel? 2121. Yes, we could.
Easy 113, ready for push and start.
Easy
Flat
113,
5.
thank you, stand 9, pushback starts approved, face south.
24k. No.
Push back and
D-rate.
start approved, face south, Easy 113.
And I'm happy to leave that there because an increase in climb actually helps. Flap 5. VG 525. Sorry, the trim. 5 1/4 set there. I've got 130, 138, 146. It's of course because it's wet, or at least listed as wet.
Shuttle 3 Romeo, ready, 23 right.
Shuttle 3 inform, correction, Shuttle 3 Romeo, thank you, via Juliet 1 with 320 degrees at 4 knots, 23 right, clear for takeoff.
23 right, clear for takeoff, Juliet 1, Shuttle 3 Romeo.
Easy 3597, stand far fully ready.
So 3 DME,
Easy
yes.
3597, thank you, stand
GB 274, but
4, you push and
one
start
is
approved,
not the end of the
base
world. 5, direct Talby. 154, 153, yes. 3000 above, yes. 5000 SANBA, yes. Let's double check that. So our fuel reserve is 3.5. We're going to arrive with 3.9, so we're not spurious message.
Hold Juliet 1.
Taxi Foxtrot, Kilo, hold Juliet 1, easy 113.
So I think we're about ready to start thinking about getting set up and ready to go. So we've done the takeoff. Minimum flap is 1300. There is no restriction, I don't think, on type of departure. So we will accelerate anything above 1000, if we call that 300, anything above 1300. We will start flat retraction and acceleration. There won't be any rolling back the throttles. Anything else to do? Not that I can think of. So I'm done with the performance. We know we can go from hotel if we need to. So let's get the airplane secured. Let's get the APU started. We're within 5 minutes of our scheduled departure. If you're watching, as always, it says there's 3 people watching. So if you are, please say hi guys. Feel free to ask questions. I'll try and do my best to answer them as best I can.
Ground to cockpit. So is driving up.
No further ATC. 102 decom, 122, decimal 8, good day to you.
So we'll leave it for a minute before we start the APU. Or at least take power off the APU. What I will do though is shut the doors.
Shuttle 3 Romeo, 102 decom, 122, decimal 8, good day.
122 decimal 8, Shuttle 3 uniform, 3 Romeo.
Oblique caution is fine. It's probably 3 minutes for.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Easy 113, ready to take off from 823 right.
And why we say ready for departure.
320 degrees, 4 knots, 23 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear to take off to runway 23 right, easy 113.
So that looks like the push is pretty much ready. Runner 7 Delta X-ray stand 5-4, request push and start. Oh, interesting. The frequency has just changed. Sneaky. Manchester Tower runner 7 Delta X-ray stand 5-4, request push and start.
Runner 7 Delta X-ray 5-4, pushback start approved, face west.
Push and start approved, face west, runner 7 Delta X-ray.
83597, taxi via Lima Papa Kilo Juliet, hold Juliet 1.
Lima Papa Kilo Juliet 122 easy 3597.
Thanks, Rotor. Enjoy cutting the grass. Thanks for popping in and thanks for saying so at least anyway. You, like they say, make hay while the sun shines.
Give us a ring if you need anything.
Oh no, let's not do that because there's only on or off. So, pumps. Yes, yes, yes. You have been cleared. It's 1500. We can.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I think we'd actually get pushed to something like that. So. I suppose we could just about do it from there.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Feels like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am. A little bit of a long push, so we're not going to start straight away. Oh, that shimmering is horrific with the anti-ace turned down. I really do need Vulcan to get working. Okay. Backs off. Start engine number 2.
Easy 113, monitor Unicorn 122.8, good day.
Monitor Unicorn 122.8, thank you, bye bye.
%, or max motoring above 20 and the fuel. Looks like number 2 is stable. 2, 4, 6, 3. I think that should be a fly. Isn't listed as a flyover, but it's an intercept. So we can just make this turn should we have to.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set. Let's start engine number
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
1. Do we have a stable engine? Yes, we do. 2, 4, 6, 3.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Easy 3597, we'll be fully ready on reaching Tech Mach 1 if that's any good to you.
Easy 3597, yeah, that works for me. Hold mic 1.
Hold Mach 1, easy 3597, cheers.
There's the pin. Flap 5 selected and travelling. So flap set, flight controls, full forward, full off, full left, right, full left rudder, full right rudder checked. Trim is set. 2 engine idle D10s.
Easy 3597 via mic 1
check.
with 300 degrees at 4 knots, 23 right, clear takeoff.
Gens on, no lights, APUs off, not required, start switches both continuous, anti-ice, probes on, rest of the anti-ice not required, isolation valve, no air conditioning, packs, auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, stab trim, 525 required, 525 set, I missed the flaps there, flap 5 required, 5 set, green light. Stab trim we did. Start levers 2, both set idle D10, flight controls check, recalls checked. You're therefore ready to taxi. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Quest taxi, you can accept hotel or mic.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, okay, second left then hotel 2, hold hotel 1, we're ready.
Second left, hotel 2, hold hotel 1, we'll go Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Not this one, the next one. Lights on. Clear left, clear right. Brakes off. Recalls checked. Brakes checked.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
So, we are not cleared yet. Are we ready? Well, we can check the yoke checklist. So before takeoff, config has been checked. Flap 5, green light, stab trim, again, vital and set.
Easy 3597, monitor Unicom, 122, decimal
Sharp.
good day to you.
Straight ahead, 3 DME, 274, 5 DME left to Talby. Need that one. MCP is set. LNAV, flight directors on, auto throttle alarm once cleared. Transponder lights. Cool. Runner 7 Delta X-ray ready for departure.
Runner 7 Delta X-ray, thank you. Vine Hotel 1300 degrees at 4 knots, 23 right, clear takeoff.
23 right, clear takeoff, Runner 7 Delta X-ray. We have been cleared. So it is going to be about 15:10. We are going to have
approaching 2-3 right.
So I am going to use as much of this as possible. Don't forget to check, even at a controlled aerodrome. It's a bit of a poor lineup, isn't it?
On runway 23 right.
Well, one day I'll get the hang of this, I promise, guys. Taxi.
Manchester Tower, hello, Ryanair. Sorry for that. Manchester Tower, hello, Ryanair 3.
So 40%.
Stand 50.
Power.
Information, Romeo
Toga.
7800 requesting Alpha
Time.
clearance flight partner is fine.
Ryanair 3, thank you. The Listo is not available for jet aircraft, so we're just doing the SANBA 1
Good,
Romeo
checked.
for Honolulu. Is that okay for you?
AFM, SANBA 1 Romeo is okay for Ryanair 3 Golf
It's
Yankee.
using a lot of it.
Ryanair 3, thank you. Okay, just confirm your parking location.
Rotate.
There you go, plenty
Stand
there.
503 Golf Yankee.
Come on, there's that dead zone.
Thank you. Information is Romeo, QNH 1014.
Positive rate, gear up.
3 right to Las Palmas. SANBA 1 Romeo, score 5652.
400.
Command A, let's see what the airplane does.
Destination number 1 Romeo, out of 23 right, squawking 5652, right
So,
at Golf Yankee.
I don't know why I've got this issue.
1000.
Is it down here? Yes, why is that open? Why is that not working? So I've got a conflict with my hardware that I need to sort out. Unicom 122.8, thanks for the service. See you again soon, man. So let's bug up. After that delay, maybe I am going to have to start checking that, but there's definitely an issue with what I've got mapped. So there we are, accelerating past the carrot, flap 1. And let's see how it handles this turn. Passing flap 1, flap up. Change anything, flaps up, gear up and off now into them to get rid of that restriction. Sorry, I moved the mic and it still picked it up. Let's actually accelerate, we have checked. Climbing to a flight level, let's set 350. We are above 10 degrees. Airplane seems to be flying that relatively well. Probably would have been better if we cleaned up a bit quicker. Reset doesn't work, does it? Start switches can go off. quite nice. Got nobody else to talk to. Bit of cloud surfing. VNav. Happy days. So there we are, passing flight level 100. We've got 4 pumps, lights off. The aeroplane is pressurising. We have a diff pressure of 4.3. If that was 0, we'd be worried the cabin is climbing steadily. 3-5 set once, twice, 3 times. Course checked, it's not bumpy, let the punters out. We're on our way. Plane's accelerating as well. So we are overhead SANBA with 3160, 3170, although all those fuel consequences a little bit quieter. Did take on 1510. 3450, 3460. Looks like there is no wind. Which is odd. Should be 073 at 10. So X-plane connected, activity idle, what does that mean? Don't know. Live real time. So it should be working. So it's just so I'm just making sure. Oh no, look, there is some wind there, look. You can see a 4 knot difference, 3 or 4 knots, that's why it's not shown. But I was just making sure that if it was forecast to be 10, we weren't missing out and it was actually injecting weather. The arrival QNH 018, so we'll set that now. Go, see that set. Here it is. There is the wind. Is there anybody online? No. EGVV, where is that? Swanwick Mill, interesting. Military, I haven't seen that before. So is that for, no, somebody's at Popper, well, there's ATC at Popper, which is nice. There's an Army Air Club, a VFR, Stingray, there we go. So somebody's got P8. Anyway, there's us passing another 10,000, so 10 checks. pumps, cabin, diff is 6, cabin's at 4, climbing steady. Happy days. So it looks like it's going to be a quite old trip on the way down. So Honolulu at 2:03, we're 2 minutes early, so we've lost 3 minutes in the departure. SIDBrief doesn't quite seem to get that, to be honest. The profile seems to be accelerate and then do start doing 250, I guess, whilst climbing, whatever. Powers aren't looking too bad apart from the flickering. Frame rate is happy and acceptable. I'm more than happy with that. You can see the GPU is just not working, really not working at all. All CPU bound.
Confirming your traffic Birmingham 99's 10 miles to the north, 3,000 feet joining straight in 15 Birmingham traffic.
Good old Army Air Club. Once we get to cruise, I'm going to go make myself a sandwich. Shannon's online. You're in Control East, and something for Portugal. Santa Maria. Manchester Tower, Bristol Tower, Ian Dixon, who was doing tower for us. Popham. That's a shame, that'd be nice. Heathrow Tower and Edinburgh Tower online. Stands to grounds, so it's getting a little bit busier, but centre, so rate of climb has dropped off. We have got a healthy tailwind, 46 knot forecast still. So this is us at Honolulu. So 2-3 it is. And overhead we've got 2860, 2870.
Birmingham traffic, RVN 996 miles, final 15 to land, Birmingham.
So passing 300, bank angle to 10, last 10 check. Distance 7.2, cabin is at 7, climbing steady 35, 35. 35. Well, there's a bit of a bump. Taking a break from the Phenom, yes, Andre, yes, I am. It's a great, fun little aeroplane, but I thought it would be nice to get back into the 737. What I'm probably not going to do is jump between them sort of like stream by stream. I'd rather do a few stints of flying this aeroplane, maybe do a couple of Concorde streams at some point as well, although that hasn't been updated for a while. I know it's in the works, and just get your head around that. But again, I mean, there's not the level of systems immersion in Concorde yet. Equally, as I'm sure I've said before on those streams, I don't want to have to be the flight engineer. There was a reason they had one in reality, but what I would like is a bit more, I suppose, how would I say, authentic interaction, if that makes sense, rather than just pushing buttons. I'd like it to be a bit more realistic and interesting, I suppose. But anyway, that's still a fun aeroplane to eat up the miles, and the Phenom is great fun. I would definitely have the Phenom down as a great fun aeroplane. But the 7.3 is, well, you know, brilliant for what we get for free. Thanks be to Zibo and all of the little elves that help as well. So yeah, I thought I'd get back into this.
1,000 to go.
So 1,000 checked. Now 7.6 is our cruise. Oh, no, that's not quite. Of course, the 7.3 has better performance when it comes to climb speed, but the Phenom, you know, certainly makes up for that in stretching its legs as well. Cool. Well, I don't want to be held to task if you're unhappy with it, my friend. But yeah, I think it's good to see somebody having a go with it, especially somebody that isn't a pro, to see how you might get on. Like I say, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great bit of kit, and like I say, I'm not doing it to sort of promote. But I think it was a really fun little aeroplane, really capable. I'd love to have one in reality. I mean, I'm sure an SR-22 would be probably more realistic, which is also another very capable aeroplane, of which there is a free version that is really good, which I have flown a couple of times, but not a lot since. I suppose I might get into that again. The Phenom is just really capable, and yeah, I mean it isn't free. I mean, contrast the Phenom with Zibo, and they are very, very different. I think the quality is slightly better with Zibo, but Airboss can put a lot of effort into that aeroplane. It looks really good from the outside and from the inside. I suppose it would be nice to see a custom G1000. It would have actually been really nice to see the Phenom 300E, the interior for which they've got, but not up the front. That would be really interesting. And I think it was a lot more popular than they were expecting, so expect some more development with it. But it's a really capable little jet. If I'm going to buy a jet, that would be the one you go for. I don't know what the real life operating costs are, but you know, most light jets like that, maybe 1,500, 2,000 US dollars an hour. Is that with fuel? Probably with fuel. Which actually, once you start to think about it, gets you into business class, first class territory, but without all of the hassle that goes with it, which is certainly why you know, light jet aviation has been busy recently, because you don't want to be going to the airport and spending 6 hours in queues, which you'd have to do even if you paid a first class ticket, so about twice more maybe, and I don't know how many friends you got with you. Go straight to the limo. Anyway, overhead Compton. Really, Compton 29. Yes, we are. Made up our time. 2690, 27. So I'm just scribbling the fuel down on the flight plan. So a little bit of a cloud here, as you shouldn't have to use any anti-ice. Should be ice crystals at this out. So, is that right? Something's interesting with the Simbrief profile. Gone from being over to being spectacularly under. Used. 210 under something. Pretty well. Whatever. So yeah, I'm glad, Andre, that you enjoy it. I hope it's a fun little aeroplane. I've probably said it before, but I don't have a lot of payware. Zibo is the go-to jet if you want to do some IFR flying, in my opinion. I'm not one of these guys that buys one of everything and jumps into everything. I'd like to spend a bit of time getting familiar with a type of aircraft. Have I ever been current on more than 2? I don't think so in reality. No, I tell a lie. I think I may have been current on 3 types all at once, although I say current when they're all single engine piston. There isn't really sort of a, well, I suppose there is a currency to it. It isn't really, but flying clubs, for instance, will have a set amount of currency that you need to do, and that's usually insurance related. But yeah, so I kind of operate in a similar sort of fashion on X-Plane. Just because I think I want to...
traffic, Bose A20 descending from flight level 160 to flight level 100.
No call sign, no mind. Yeah, I sort of prefer to operate semi-professionally with a few types rather than jumping back to lots of them.
And Heathrow traffic expecting ILS 27 right, 90 Roxa 10, hotel arrival, Heathrow traffic. Position to London 27 after the Heathrow.
Yeah, they've got ATC, they've got tower, and ATIS. So, when it comes to radio, guys, who you are, what you are, where you are, what you want, those are the radio tenets. I don't think anybody cares on VATSIM what type you are necessarily in the air. You just want to know who you are, where you are, what you're doing when it comes to Unicom. So here we are heading over to Goodwood. Can't see anything. With no ATC online, I probably myself a sandwich. Let's have a look at, right, where did we- well, I suppose it doesn't actually matter. Top of descent, 16:02. 30 minutes, that's enough time for some grub. This is the sort of flight thing I like. So I'm going to go make some food after Goodwood. And then we'll have a look and a think about our arrival, the weather, etc. Until I get bored quite easily. Though of course Concord keeps you on your toes for 3 hours. That really does seem to go quite quickly, I think, because you're busy doing something every sort of 20 minutes. Certainly 3 or 4 hours in this is relatively boring. As great an aeroplane as it is. So this looks like us over Goodwood. Saitek is the FIR boundary with France. Don't think there's any ATC. There is not. So Goodwood at 3.5, 4 minutes early, with 2590 in both. So we've got 202 kilos in hand now. Happy days. Just magic that out of nowhere. So, right, food time. Thanks guys. Enjoy the view, I guess. Not see much. But, you know, live weather and everything. I'll see you back in a bit. Right, so back, the headset on, quick panini. Here we are, heading down, 2/3 of the way down, France. So, look at our arrivals. I'm going to load them up on the iPad and then think about looking at screen to talk through. So, 3 Romeo, 3 Mike, 2-1. Okay, so let's check the weather. So 15:30 Zulu, 17 minutes ago. Automatic report 260, 9, variable between 230 and 290. Greater than 10k, a few clouds at 2,200, scattered at 8,000, broken at 9,800, temperature 19, dew point 12, QH1018, which we have set, and tempo broken at 3,000. Tower cumulus, so that implies there will potentially, there's a lot of energy in the atmosphere, and that there may be a little bit more turbulence, but necessarily to concern ourselves too much with. Wind is swinging up to 290, which could give us a slight tailwind. But it is variable, and of course we know that variable wind in X-plane invariably means that there will be lots of turbulence even when there shouldn't be turbulence, just because of the way that it models those changes. They're very digital, and there's no smooth transition between the two. So what am I talking about? The runway is 2-1. So it's varying actually to more crosswind potentially. So the best bet is to actually, in my mind, is to put 290 in at 9, expecting the full crosswind and not getting any of the headwind benefits for the approach to do the distances. So runway 21 has an ILS, has RNAV. Could we go down to the RNAV? Yes, I think we could. Maybe the ILS is turned off. I haven't actually looked at the NOTAMs, so we'll do LNAV VNAV because I don't know if this aeroplane has LPV. I think we've updated the one to SANBA update 14, which should have LPV, but of course we have almost got the OR in this, so here's what we can do, which would give us 1605, and the visibility we need for that is 800 meters. Of course we've got 10k on, so absolutely happy. So why don't we start flying? Actually, I'll shut up and redo what I was doing in the first place and get these charts up so you guys can see what utter rubbish I'm talking about. So let's put on the arrival end first. 3 Romeo. Runway 21. Excellent. We said we're going to do the RNAV. So that gets us to India Bravo Lima 21. IBL 21. 16:01, so 10 minutes. That's why I like slightly longer flights. Not too long, just slightly longer. Going LFBL. So, arrival. 3 Romeo. 2, yes. Then we are looking at approach. P2. Go up in that order, that's the order that we scroll through. So, we're going to go to BALAN, we are going to the next page and check this now. There are no discontinuities. IBL 21, 185, yes below, 4000 above, yes. So we're not going to put any of that in, we need it. So, have a look at the profile above 4. It says a mandatory 4, which it is there. FBL 2, 3 degrees. There it is, 3 degrees. V21. See the runway. 75. And that. Is that 50 foot difference? You should be crossing the threshold at 50 foot, which we expect is and there's our bit below I was talking about, 330 above the ground. So plenty low enough for what we need. So yeah, fun. We do need to make sure the descent profile is in there. So 1605 is out. We don't know rounding required. Let's put that descent forecast in. If I got my 4, if I got my 60, not that it really matters as long as we can change over. Deviation makes no difference. Well, negligible difference. Wind followed by QNH is the biggest. We have descent winds printed on the OFB. Coordinates I have. We're at 350. We should have descended at some point. Well, no, we should have descended back there. There's nothing about it. Bad planning on my part. So 296. Interesting. It's a strong old wind. 284.43. And 26726. All from the OFB guys. So that's what you needed. You don't have to print it off. It's good to scribble on. That has not moved out of the descent. Cool. In the absence of anything else, let's have a look at this sector. Off-route altitude is 2,500, the highest is 2,100, so set 10 for the arrival. Fix rings in. So 10 miles. I think we're going to be VMC. And I'm going to put. Where will we ever say this? Fix. 3,700 from the Moj VO1, so let's get that tuned up. Put 25 miles in anyway. Moj VO1 114.5, that's good. So 25 nautical miles from that. 3,700 in all sectors by the looks of things. Nothing to tune. I will have the ILS on standby. Don't need to put anything on the RMP, but I'm going to set the course anyway. Three. So there's nothing to worry about there. And there's 155. It's just as a reminder over here. So on this chart, what does that T mean now? It's GPS. That's a good question. Answers on the postcard, chaps. So, final protocols 213, mandatory 4,000. Yes, we've got that. LNAV VNAV approach. We want the use IN either. Trying to install. And to be honest, you don't need it. It doesn't make it any more precise. Only if you have the multi-mode receiver and the airplane is already capable. You use these minimums and look up, we're only getting an extra 40 feet. But I suppose it does make a difference. The big difference is to the visibilities. As you can see there, you have slightly less on those, and that's potentially going to be more limiting than 40 feet difference. Are there any obstacles? No. Not doing continuous descent to MDA. Oh, threshold was 49 was there, so that is correct in the FMC. So all these things to think about. Minimum temperature minus 33 mile an hour. So that's interesting. About 58 degrees C, well, so that's an interesting note. Yes. I wonder why. I don't know. Anyone else knows, please feel free to tell me. So that's set. Elevation 1300 set. And now as we said, 1605 set. This is straight ahead. Of course, you can't fly that conventionally, so as below 1000 X185. So we have to configure relatively early, even though it's going to be a continuous descent. And it looks like we're coming up on the descent point anyway, so let's go to Des now, just to smooth it out a little bit. Still no ATC online. Oh, I know what I haven't done. Our landing performance. So we think we're going to burn 0.5. All that talk of charts and everything else. So we think we're going to be 60.9. So I said I was going to do 2909. 19 degrees. 018. It's only going to make 30 feet difference when we end up there. We'll try flat 30 initially with the variable winds. see there's the aeroplane intercepting the profile there, the engine's rolling back a little bit. So that will give us less headwind credit. Gear F5 of course. Credit for the reversers. Fine, there we go. So you can see it was worthwhile, because if we did 2 that could go wrong, so we're going to land 3, 4, 8. We could bring that back if we needed to. +5, yes, 148. With a brake 3, so we'll be standing on the brakes. And it does mean we do want to touch down and not muck about. We've got to go all the way down to the end anyway, so there's no reason to slam on max auto. We're not doing a flight after this, so brake cooling isn't an issue. 2-1, yes. I'm just going to see how the aeroplane gets on with it. Put in all the information we can. Go. Course check should have been done before the top descent. It is descending. Pumps are all on. We don't need the pack sat down yet. Now reserve fuel for our trip to Charles de Gaulle. 3.5. It's worth writing that down because it does help it to stick in your brain. Of course 3.5 with roughly even tanks, going to be 1750 in each. That's the point at which we need to decide whether or not we are diverting or not, committing a diversion to our destination. Don't actually know what the criteria would be for that, but I mean, you can certainly think about it in your head. What sort of situation would you be in? Diversion fuel to where you're going. Well, potentially if there was something not weather related, I suppose. Say the aerodrome was, I don't know, shut for bird scaring or something, or if there was debris on the runway that we could clear up in 10 or 15 minutes, do a runway inspection, then if there's nothing wrong with the aerodrome, if there's nothing wrong with the weather, you don't need to escape weather, so you can probably commit the diversion fuel then. Certainly look for an aerodrome nearby. There are quite a few. Don't forget that the alternate is a weather alternate, and that is if you really can't get in where you want, you need to go somewhere quite a relatively long way away, is why you have an alternate like that. See the aeroplane wallowing about. So once you're in the NDB, it's 424. Idiot. There we go. So yes, weather's still the same. I just increased the throttle a little bit there just to get the speed back on target. So it was a little bit low. So don't be afraid, you can do that when it's in arm. It's obviously more, what's the word I'm looking for, more realistic in the real aeroplane because the throttles move. They don't at home, so. Those traffic run S7 Delta X-ray inbound, expecting RNP runway 21, estimated time at 26 in most traffic. nearby, somebody's flying over the top of it. We are the 2 arrivals, somebody else. Mustafa Hajar EGTB, where's EGTB? It's coming from Southampton. CFE, I do not know that call sign. Operator BA, interesting. No, I think he's just copied that from something else. An Embraer 195, interesting. Is still in the UK FIR though, so well done him for picking an interesting destination, is what I say. And you can check that pressurization land out, yep, set anti-ice is required, pressure briefing done, bugs checked and set. So you can print that off and use that as well. It is easy to forget things. It does help to get into a flow, not rely on the checks. And there to confirm that you've done what you said. And just by looking at the panel, what configuration do you want to keep the pumps on? Check the landing altitude, pressurization set, and check the pressurization the airplane is descending. Anti-ice and everything else is as required, really. Touched anything else? Oh look, mystery. Severe Cavo K we're heading towards. Shouldn't be. 1600 Zulu to 60. It's come around to 300. It's not going to make too much difference. Oh, well, it is saying Cavo K, but tempo broken. TCU at 3000. Odd. Cavo K, but tempo really odd. Really odd. Frame rate's holding up pretty good. Jersey approach. See them online very often. There you go, you can see as the wind changes ever so slightly. The airplane rocks about just because that's how the sim is portraying the weather. Every time that wind changes by 1 knot, it's not a smooth change. It's actually flying to a different layer. 1 knot, 1 degree. Pink. So BALAN 3 Romeo, 31 miles. So if I was concerned at any point, I would intervene if you think the descent profile is going a bit squiffy. But what I want to do for this flight is just to see how good VNAV is. People have been like, VNAV is not very good. So let's find out. We put everything in, and don't forget there's only so much information you put in. You don't get it from active sky because that's really it is the forecast. Stick in the forecast weather and see what happens. And of course, in reality, sometimes it can be quite wrong. I've only ever been lost properly once in my life. Well, I suppose temporarily short of position. And laughably, that was with an instructor, and the forecast wind matched the real wind with an accuracy of 0. We ended up spectacularly off course. So much so that we had to orbit for a while to figure out where we were. Not the end of the world. but just goes to show how wrong it can be sometimes. But what I would like to see is give it the information, the wind be relatively similar and accurate to the forecast, and see what the aeroplane does. So I'm just going to let it decel at its own point. I'm not going to intervene, and if we have to zip around and go missed, I'm not too worried about that. I just want to see if it's doable. And the only reason I caveat that is just to say that it's bad form to just sit there and do that normally. Let's get the punters sat down. We should start that a little bit earlier, but they're not real, so it doesn't matter. So what I am going to do is set, once we get down to 10, I'm going to set 4, as that's the next restriction, 4,000 above. Most traffic run as 7 Delta X-ray overhead, BALAN, flight level 124, descending altitude 4,000 feet. Expect arrival at minutes 24. The most traffic. So let's go down to 4 now. 71018, and then we have a blip. Teeny tiny blip in the profile there. Like I say, I'm not going to intervene. Tracking 155, which we are, but you can see that there's a fair bit of drift there. 5 degrees. The 30 knot wind at 90 knots, you'd be looking at 20 degrees of drift there rather than 5. 2/3. So pumps all on. I'm going to pop the lights on early because it don't matter. Calls checked. Phones to silent/flight mode, please, friends. There's the aeroplane pitching for speed. It seems to not be doing a very good job of it. Like I said, I'm not going to intervene. Interesting that it's rolling back. Well, we're just going to stay level. You can see we are below profile. Well, if you look, we have made the restriction, so that's okay. I wonder if we're going to struggle to decel. Like I said, if we end up fast, we end up fast. If we end up within 10 knots of the upspeed, then I will select flap. See, the latest point is out there, but actually that's the very latest point to select flap one, and we would be far too fast because we've got max 185 here. So we'll see if we can maintain that. Throttles are at idle. It's above 10 degrees, so I'm not going to pop the anti-ice on. What I'm going to do is pop the start switch just to continuous, just early. Frame rate actually better in the clouds, I figure. They don't look too bad, it's just the lighting and everything needs work, but of course laminate aren't all over that at the moment. And as long as the Zibo mod continues to exist, I will be an X-Plane user. So, like I say, in reality, we ended up starting the decel and it wasn't quite working. I would intervene, but I just want to see how VNAV manages. Bearing in mind with 4,000 above, we could have made that a 4,000 level. and I might have considered that normally, just to give us an extra bit of breathing room. Let's see if VNAV is doing its job. I think IBL21 is directly over, is effectively an RNAV point to replicate the locator. It's an NDB, but it's, I think, only approach 8, so it's a locator, but it doesn't say. So maybe it is just all NDB. Anyway, not the end of the world. See ghost points that have come in. So, what is the RP? Just LNAV, VNAV. It isn't. There isn't actual RP as far as I can see on here. So that means it's just standard criteria, which I don't know off the top of my head. Still above 10 degrees, no anti-ice required. Scenery's looking nice. Frames are looking excellent. So the wind is just cool, giving us a little bit of a speed excursion there. If we had gone over 250, I would have used some speed brake just to get that back. There's the aeroplane starting to decel. Will it work? Bearing in mind we're going back all the way to 185, so we'll need to get some flap out at some point. I'm going to aim to do it within 10 knots of the upspeed. And we may struggle. You can see I'm already thinking that I want to be using speed brake. So, chart open. Oh, look at that excursion. Right, I am going to use speed brake because that is just the wind going all over the place there, so I think it's unreasonable to expect VNAV to cope with that. So I've still got full speed brake. I'm going to go flap 1. And I'm going to keep the speed brake. I think that's a fair intervention because VNAV can't necessarily cope quite with that. 185 max, 186. We're going to need flap 5 anyway. Seems to be working out quite nice. We're going to go flap 5 there.
1,000 to go.
And flap 5 is going to get us ready for the descent, just an extra bit of drag. I think it's worked out quite well. The most traffic Ryanair 7 Delta X, passing altitude 4,800, descending altitude 4,000, Bravo Lima 21 for the RMP non-negative. Most traffic. And of course, in France, everyone just speaks French. I do not, so my SA is terrible. And there we go. Actually, this has worked out quite nicely, isn't it? So start switches are already continuous. Just armed the speed brake. Then now flap gate, and we're probably a little bit slow, but 185. I suppose you could do it at flap 1. However, we do need to be. We would need to be flap 5 at the commencement of the descent on the glide. Are we 10 miles out? Yes, by the looks of things we are. It's all worked out quite nicely. I probably went to flap 5 slightly too early. Not now VNAV path, so we need to set
1,000 to go.
Go within 1 mile. Still in VNAV path.
2,500.
1,700. There's the aeroplane descending on the glide. The most traffic, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, final runway 21, 7.5 miles. It's looking very nice. Apart from the wind, so by then it will be terrible, getting excuses in early. Still got enough fuel. Probably got enough for at least another approach. So I'm going to look and physically check that runway. It's good to me, I didn't see anyone, so I have cleared ourselves to land. See the auto throttle working quite hard. Five miles to go. That's looking quite nice, that turn and the direct. Probably be quite interesting to fly that actually and see what it did. 4 miles, gear down, lap 50.
1,000 to go.
Landing checklist to flap, speed brake arm, brake 3, clear land, self-cleared, start switch is continuous, gear down 3 green, pulse checked,
1,000.
start bringing those back, missed approach will be set in a moment.
Flaps. Flaps.
There you go, that's the landing checklist done.
Approaching 2, 1.
Bit of a stutter. Ooh.
400. 300. Minimums.
Continue, we're a little bit slow. Doesn't help that there appear to be no pappies.
200.
There's the airplane dropping. So lots of work on the throttle there.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, thump. That was bad. Blame the dodgy weather, it is definitely not that bad in reality. And I think the manual braking, I'm going to exit there. Runway's a bit all over the place as well. But we won't come back. You are fired. Oops. That wasn't great. Not my proudest moment when it bounced. It's going well until that point. You can certainly hear that the rate of descent changed, which is why I flared quite early there. Thought I'd rescued it, but failed. Maybe the runway just dropped away. We'll have a look on the replay. It's not a high-speed exit, so let's get the speed down. The most traffic run SM Delta X-ray runway vacated. It's a relatively short taxi, so let's get the APU started. position is for the probes. That sounded like the speed brakes coming up, and I had already stowed them. So I find that a little odd. Maybe I'll have to check the controls. Right, where are we going to park? One A, I guess. Here on the pan. So that looks like a little GA apron. Don't know why it's called Lima. Okay, 1A, this does not appear to match the chart. Yeah, it does not say. This is a self-maneuver stand, but I can well imagine that it is. So we've checked brakes. Hope I didn't hit anything. Gosh, that is close. Full turn. Ooh, that'd be fun. And we keep going. Donk. Oh, that was a stop. Where we ended up in a mess. Oh well. Alright, that wasn't great. How embarrassing. Welcome to Limoges, everybody, if you've still got your teeth. So, 2 blues, 1 red. Engine's dead. Waiting for 20%. It's weird it takes that extra second to draw that. Nice if all that was automatic. I will shut the door this time before we get going. Oh, I can't open the door. We are. I thought I was doing so well with the parking. Guess not. It is meant to be a max rate turn, so. Whoops. No alignment bars to help. So let's end all these flights. Disconnect off the VATSIM. Get rid of the overlay. View your flight. Landing rate 638. Ugh. Dead. Aircraft bounced. It says 672. I thought I had saved it. Dear. Rusty. So landing speed was quite different to the others. So let's shut the doors and everything, get the replay on. I suppose we could have made that at where this went wrong, shall we? I think there was probably a bit of a gust as well. Nope, it was just bad flying. That was absolutely terrible. Right, I think the next trip will be some circuits. Maybe a trip back and some circuits. I think it was fair to say yes, you are fine. Okay guys, well, that was moderately embarrassing. I hope you enjoyed it more than I did. Feel free to pick yourselves up off the floor laughing. Enjoy the scenery looks nice. And until next time, I think I'll try and fly tomorrow, so let's get a trip back. I wonder where we'll go to, and then we'll see if we can get some circuits, because I clearly need the landing practice. So until then, thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.